Hello everyone. Diet and what you eat is a very important part of your overall health and fitness. So today I thought we'd discuss and compare a couple of eating plans. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more. So on one side you have keto. On the other side you have plant-based eating. What exactly are these and what does it exactly mean? So let's break this down. Keto is more low carb, high fat, high protein, eating a lot of meats and fats, and many times people who are keto don't really eat any kind of grains or especially any kind of breads or cereals, and a lot of times they will also cut down on how much fruits and certain vegetables that they eat to very severely limit the carb intake. And plant-based eating is, kind of a lot like it sounds. It's mostly eating plant-based foods. A lot of times these will be like your vegans, vegetarians, and things like that. And there are some who won't eat any meat or meat products or anything like that. But there are some who will sometimes they'll have some milk sometimes, or those dairy products, or sometimes they'll allow eggs or fish or things like that, and with variations like pescatarian or ovo-lacto-vegetarian and things like that. Mostly it is plant-based foods, mostly eating plants and getting your protein mainly through things such as beans and legumes and things like tofu and plant-based protein sources such as those. Okay, now you might be asking, so what is one better than the other? Which should I adopt? And it really it mostly depends on you, your preferences, and what your body adapts to and what your body prefers. So let's take this and break it down and to the benefits and the drawbacks and some things to think about before you really make a decision on what kind of eating plan you want to adopt. So some of the pros for keto are that a lot of times people will lose weight very quickly with this type of diet, and it's very common in the beginning to really lose weight quickly. So that's what draws a lot of people, and that's one thing that a lot of people will cite first, is that because of the low carbs, because of forcing your body into ketosis, and what happens is your body needs to look for other sources of fuel, so your body will go to burning fat. And so a lot of times this will kickstart weight loss for a lot of people. And a lot of times people will also notice that when they limit their carbs, their appetite lowers and they don't feel those cravings or those cravings for those foods as much as they had before. So that helps them eat less. But that is another thing that a lot of people will notice is the appetite suppression. And also, because you are lowering carbs and sugars and things like that in this type of eating plan, your blood sugar will naturally lower. And so a lot of times diabetics will be drawn to that, and a lot of people will notice this decrease in blood sugar with lowering the carbs. So, what are the drawbacks? Okay, so the drawbacks with keto is that it can be hard to maintain over time because you are severely limiting a complete food group. And a lot of times people will completely take this whole macronutrient completely out of their diets, and honestly, I'm not sure that that's always a very good idea to completely take a whole food group or a whole macronutrient out of your diet. So because you are doing that, it can be very hard to maintain this type of eating plan over a long period of time, for several reasons. Because it's hard to work around completely taking that macronutrient out of your diet, because so many foods have carbs in them, and it can be hard to find foods that fit into this keto plan. And a lot of times people will have to go to specialized keto stores, specialized keto brands, to get these keto-friendly foods. And it can be very hard to find foods that fit in with the carb ratios that they're looking for. And another thing is because when you severely limit something like that, your body can adapt over time. Yes, it does adapt over time, but having that balance is important. And when you severely limit something like that, it can lead to imbalances, and your body notices that. And so it can be hard to maintain an eating plan that severely limits a whole macronutrient like keto does. And it can be arguable that after a period of time, 6 months or so, that those who adopt keto don't see any greater weight loss than those who don't. And after that period of time, there isn't that much of a benefit in the weight loss aspect than if they hadn't have adopted keto in the first place. So that first whole benefit becomes negated after that first initial burst of weight loss. And compounding that with it being hard to maintain after a certain period of time kind of levels that out. And because of the increase in fat intake with keto and the increase in animal product intake, a lot of times people will see an increase in LDL, or low density lipoprotein cholesterol. This is the dangerous cholesterol. This is the cholesterol that you want to see go down. And because of that high intake of fat and animal products, a lot of times you will see this go up instead of down. And that can be not such a good thing. Okay, now let's talk about plant-based nutrition. Some of the benefits with plant-based nutrition is that plants are a lot higher in your micronutrients and your chemical nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, your flavonoids, things like that you don't see as much of in your animal products, things like that. And fruits, vegetables, greens, plants like that are a lot higher in these kinds of things that are very important to make sure that you get in your diet. That's very hard to get with the more animal-based products. And a lot of times people see that plant-based nutrition can be a little bit cleaner for several reasons, because some people will say because of how meat is processed, but also because plants are just cleaner and more environmentally friendly, just naturally. Don't really have as much processing as meat has, and just things like that, and just kind of just cleaner in general. And going back to the cholesterol point that I brought up before with keto, the flip side with plant-based nutrition is that plant-based nutrition doesn't have as much cholesterol. So because you're not eating as much meats, your diet in general overall will be lower in cholesterol. So a lot of times people will see that as a benefit to plant-based nutrition. Okay, now the downside with plant-based nutrition is that it is a lot harder to make sure that you're getting proper protein. It can be harder to find protein sources that are plant-based, and it can be harder to get enough protein with plant-based nutrition to get the proper amount in your diet. And along with this decrease in protein is that the quality, you have to think about the quality of protein in your diet. And a lot of times people will find that meat or animal-based protein is higher quality, easier to absorb, more bioavailable, meaning that your body can use it better. And so if you severely limit your meat and animal product intake, you can find that that can be a problem with your protein as well. Finding that quality protein, that bioavailable protein in your diet. Now, like I said before, all of this depends on your body type, on your preferences. Some people will find that lower carbs, lower grains works better for them because they find maybe that with grains they become more inflamed and they just feel better if they don't eat as much grains. Some people will be almost just the opposite in that they find that they feel better if they don't eat as much meat and animal products. And some people can find that they eat too much meat or animal products, they can become or feel bloated, and that they feel lighter and more energetic if they adopt a plant-based diet. So in the end, it's up to you, and these are just some things to think about when you're thinking about what kind of diet that you want to adopt. And in the end, the most important thing is that you think about what you eat, that you try as best you can to eat healthy, eat clean, eat wholesome, and that you use portion control and moderation. If you keep these things in mind, think about these points, I'm sure that you can find a good diet that suits your needs and your body. Well, that's all I have for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.